Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you so much for the support on my welcome video. You all seem to really enjoy it and look forward to what's coming, which I'm so pleased about. So today I have for you my first book haul on my channel, which is really exciting because every single book I'm going to show you in this video I have purchased from a charity shop, which to me is amazing. I know there are some readers that don't secondhand buy books because they want to benefit their author, and honestly I would just buy from bookshops if I had the funds to do so, but I'm on a budget. I'm a budget book shopper. I don't have £8-9 every time I want to buy a book. I'm constantly in charity shops, and if I find a book that is on my TBR I will definitely pick it up. And the money goes to charity, so you know what's not to like. So yeah, every single book here I got from a charity shop. I can't remember the exact charity shop because I've been to loads, and I've got about 14 books to show you, and I've got about 2 in each charity shop, so that's how many I've been to. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first book I picked up is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, which I have already read and I absolutely loved it. I will talk more in depth about this in my March wrap up, but basically this is about a super rich family in America, and I think it's their own island that they have, and they go there every summer just to hang out. And the main girl is called Cadence. It follows her perspective, and it talks about her relationship with her cousins that she sees every year, just over summer. They kind of forget about each other every other time, they just see each other over summer. But what's interesting is Cadence had an accident that she can't actually remember, so you're kind of following Cadence as she kind of picks apart her memories that she has, forms new ones, to find out how she had this accident, because all she can remember is waking up in the water and just not knowing how she got there or what happened. This was a really good read. It's super short, it's like 200 and something pages, so you'll get through it super quickly. Perfect for a reading slump because it's a nice easy contemporary, but it's super eerie, super creepy, and there's a twist as well, so if you love a twist you absolutely love this, and I can't recommend it enough. The next book I picked up is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is a weird one because on Goodreads it's called The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, but here it just says The 7 Deaths, so if anyone knows anything about that then please let me know. But anyway, this is a mystery, I believe. See, I don't tend to look at what my books are about because I don't want to spoil them close to reading, so normally when I'm buying I read the back, and if I think, oh yeah, I like the sound of that, I just put it in my basket and then I don't read it again, so sorry if my knowledge of these books is a bit patchy. But I believe it's about a lady called Evelyn, obviously, who dies at the same time every day, and each time the other main character, what's his name, Aidan, he can work out the killer, and he doesn't struggle doing so, but every day he wakes up in a different body, and some bodies that he's in are more helpful towards working out who the murderer is than others. So you've got two things going on. You've got a lady that's dying at the same time every day, and a guy who's waking up in the same body every day. So I just thought that sounded super interesting. It kind of reminds me of Every Day by David Levithan, about the person that wakes up in a different body every day. If you've read or seen that, you'll know what I mean. But I just think it sounds really interesting and not something I've read before, so I'll definitely be giving this a go soon. The next book I picked up is Submarine by Jo Dunthorne, and this is a book I've picked up due to watching the movie and absolutely loving it. Loads of you are going to hate me in this video because a lot of the books I've bought are movies or TV shows which I've already seen, but if I'm that intrigued by a show or a film I will want to read the book afterwards, even if I know what's going to happen. So Submarine, I don't know how to explain it because it's one of those stories that there's not really a massive plot, it just kind of, you just follow someone's life, and it's about this young guy called Oliver. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that. He's called Oliver Tate. He's a 15-year-old boy, and you're just following him through his semi-difficult life. So there's this girl he really likes in his class called Jordana, and you see how their relationship unfolds. It's his like first proper big crush. And meanwhile his parents' relationship is kind of crumbling, and he thinks his mum's having an affair. So it's quite a short book, and the film was really good, so I recommend that too. It's really artsy and different, but you're just basically following this guy as he navigates through a coming of age part of his life, and yeah, I'm just really excited to read it. I loved the movie, so this should be good. Next, I managed to pick up How I Live Now by Meg Rossoff, and I'm really glad I found this in a charity shop because I was so close to ordering it online, but then I found it and I think this was like in a 3 books for £2 deal, so I'm so glad I picked this up, and I've already read it, and this is another one that I picked up due to loving the movie. So How I Live Now is a story about a 15-year-old girl called Daisy who is going to visit her family in the UK as she lives in America. She's visiting her auntie and her cousins. When she gets there, her auntie has to go away straight away pretty much on business, and the day after that, bombs start going off in London, and the guys' lives are just turned upside down basically. It's like World War III is starting and their country is occupied by the enemy. So at first the kids are loving it because they know how to fend for themselves because they're used to it, and there's no adults, so it's like a bliss, it's like a haven, and they're loving it. But then they soon realise that it probably won't stay like that forever, and things do start to go wrong. So this is another really short read. I think a good reader could get through this in a day, and it just follows these characters, how they navigate through life during the war, kind of how they fend for themselves, their emotions. And this is a really good stream of consciousness novel, so it's told from Daisy's perspective, and the prose, it just has no punctuation or anything, it's just a literal stream of consciousness. It kind of is similar to The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, if you read that, kind of from a child's perspective, and the prose isn't like amazing, it's just like what the character is thinking all the time. So I really liked that. It was hard to get used to, but it was super interesting, so definitely pick that up. Next, I managed to pick up 13 Reasons Why. I got this at the same place for the 3 books for £2, and obviously I have seen the show of this. I liked the first season of the show, and the second season I thought it was okay. I will probably always watch it when they bring out new seasons, but I'm not crazy about it. But it intrigued me, so that's exactly why I picked up this novel. I've already read it. I finished reading it yesterday, actually. So what's really interesting about this novel is it follows Clay Jensen just over one night whilst he's listening to the tapes, and obviously the TV show follows like his time at school when he's face to face with the people in the tapes. So that was really interesting. If you don't know what this is about, which I'm sure you do by now, basically there's a guy called Clay Jensen who receives these mystery box of tapes, and as he starts listening to them, he realises that they are recorded by Hannah Baker, a girl who committed suicide 2 weeks ago, and he knows her from school and he worked with her as well. And on each side of the tape is a reason why she ended her life, so there's 13 reasons overall, hence the title of the book. So yeah, it follows Clay over one night as he's listening to the tapes, unravelling the mystery of why he's on them, why his classmates are on them, and why this girl decided to end her life. It was an okay book. I'll let you know fully my thoughts in my March wrap-up. But I did prefer it to the TV show, I think, because the TV show is 2 seasons long. The first season is based on this book, and then it just goes off on a tangent, which is not necessary at all. It was a quick read, it was an easy read, it was a fun read. It's very problematic, though. I will get into that in my March wrap-up, but this could be damaging if the wrong person reads it. So if you're in quite a bad place, I wouldn't suggest picking this up until you're out of that. But yeah, it's still a good representation of mental health, and it does talk about issues that need to be addressed, such as sexual abuse and obviously suicide. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, then I would pick it up, but just make sure you're in the right mind frame before doing so. So next, I was lucky enough to find The Woman in the Window in a charity shop for £2, which is a proper good deal. So The Woman in the Window is a very talked about novel. I think it came out last year, and it's a mystery about a character called Anna who lives on her own. She is agoraphobic, which means she's afraid of going outside, I believe. Tell me if I'm wrong. But she spends her time just watching movies in her house, and more importantly, spying on her neighbours. So when this new family moves in, she's watching them, and something she shouldn't see happens. She witnesses it, and then I don't know anymore. I don't want to know anymore because obviously that would ruin the mystery, so I don't want you guys to know anymore either. But I just think that sounds really interesting. I remember reading a few years ago The Girl on the Train, and it kind of gives me similar vibes to that, so I'll see if it's similar to that when I'm reading and let you know. But I need to delve into mystery more, and I just think this sounded like the perfect book to do so. I love to hear about agoraphobia and how that affects people because it's not something I'm familiar with, and I can't wait to see what she saw through that window. From the same charity shop, I managed to find The Night Circus, which is a book I've heard hyped up so much on BookTube, and I literally cannot wait to delve in. So once again, I've heard a YouTuber talk about this, put it straight on my TBR, and then I haven't really looked at what it's about since, and I don't want to spoil it because it's one of those. But basically what I know is that there's this night circus, hence the title, and it just appears, and it's only open at night, and there's magic involved, and there's two young magicians that are dueling, and that's all I know. So it sounds really, really good, and I can't wait to delve in. So next, I finally picked up a book that I've seen in every charity shop that I've gone to, and that is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. So everyone knows what Gone Girl is, but if you don't know, it's basically a story about a man who is accused of murdering his wife when she goes missing, and no one believes it really, because he's like the town's like golden boy. But then as things start to unravel, everyone's starting to question him due to him making really bad decisions because of the pressure he's under, and the only person that really believes in him is his twin sister, I believe. The movie is crazy, and I have seen it, but it's just so crazy, it's a lot to take in. So yeah, he's kind of fighting his innocence, and he swears he didn't do it. So the question is, if he didn't do it, then who did? This will be amazing, I just know it. I've seen the movie, so I know what happens, and I know there's a giant twist, of course. It's a mystery, of course there's going to be a twist. But I just can't wait to read the novel and see how it kind of plays out in written form. I loved the characters in the film, so I'm hoping I love them just as much. I'll probably like them more when I read this, so I'll keep you updated. Talking of Gillian Flynn, I also picked up Sharp Objects, which I've been so excited to read. I know there's a TV show of it and it's doing super well, but for once I wanted to make sure I actually read the novel first, just so I can not know what's going to happen in the book when I go to reading it. But anyway, if this is as good as the Gone Girl adaptation, then I'm bound to love it. The only difference is this is a show, obviously. But from my knowledge, Sharp Objects is a story about a young journalist who has spent some time in a psychiatric hospital, and her next job as a journalist is to go back to her hometown to try and cover the mystery disappearance of two young teenage girls. So obviously she's going back to her hometown, and she says she hasn't spoken to her mum or her young sister in years. She doesn't really keep in contact with them, and I think the mum is a bit crazy. Don't quote me on that because I don't know, I haven't read it or seen the show, but I think she works out that she may know who these girls are, and she has to kind of unravel her own past and her own life to kind of get closer to seeing who killed these girls. So that seems really interesting. It's a lot shorter than Gone Girl, so I'm pretty sure I can get through this in a couple of days. I know I'm going to want to, as I'm going to need to know the link, and I'm going to need to know who killed or took the girls. So I can't wait to read that, and then I will let you know what I think of the show as well. So the next book I picked up is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I just forgot who wrote that there, that's so bad. But anyway, I didn't know when I picked this up, but as I read the blurb a little bit to prepare for this video, I realised that this is a retelling of The Little Mermaid, and I was correct, it's a dark retelling, which sounds amazing, and I've never read a book about mermaids before, so I'm ready to delve in. So this book is basically about a lady who ends up killing one of her own kind. I believe she's a mermaid. She ends up killing one of her own kind. It's not necessarily that bad that she did that, it's how fate played out, but her punishment for doing so by the sea witch, I believe, is to turn into a human, which is pretty much what happens in The Little Mermaid, although in The Little Mermaid she asks for it. So this girl has a certain amount of time, and she has to make the prince, I believe, fall in love with her. So that sounds really good. It sounds super dark. I'm sorry, my description of this book was pretty crap, but as soon as I found out it was a Little Mermaid retelling, I didn't want to read anymore. I just wanted to read it and see how it played out. I'm really excited to read this, and also I adore this cover. I think it's beautiful. So yeah, this is exciting. Next are a couple of books I picked up yesterday, which is exciting. The first is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Me and my partner were in Waterstones, and I was saying, oh my god, I need to read some V.E. Schwab. I know I'd love her books. She's doing so well at the moment. And I found this in the next shop we went into, which was a charity shop, and I got this for £2, which is amazing. So from my knowledge, because it's V.E. Schwab, that means it's an adult book because she writes YA as well. And she goes under Victoria Schwab when she's writing YA, and all her adult books are under V.E. as a pseudonym, which is really, really interesting, and it makes it easy for me to know the genre of the book, which is great. I love that. And what I know about this is that the story is about two male college roommates, and they're like pretty much best friends. And they do a research into near-death experiences, and then they kind of work out that you can develop your own abilities. So it sounds a little bit like superpowers. I don't know if that's completely right, but that's what it sounds like. And then I think things go badly wrong, and they end up arch enemies. One goes to prison, and just it all kicks off. So I can't wait to delve into that. It doesn't sound like something I'd normally read. I normally tend to read either fantasy or contemporary, so this is more like superhero-y, like with abilities and stuff. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. All the like book people in the community that I kind of go by, because their opinions match mine, have all given this a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads, so I hope that means I'm going to love it. But I can't wait to delve in, and I can't wait to read more of her novels because I know I will love them. Next, I managed to pick up A Court of Mist and Fury, and I already have the first book, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I picked up at another charity shop, and they're exactly the same edition, which I love. So this I bought like, I think about a month ago, maybe even longer, but I found this yesterday. So obviously I haven't read what the second book is about because I haven't read the first one yet and I don't want to spoil it. But these are by Sarah J Maas, which is super exciting because Sarah J Maas is a queen. So I haven't read too much about these because with fantasy I like to keep it pretty incognito because I don't want to know what's going on. I just want to go in without many expectations, because a lot of these books are hyped, and as much as I don't want to follow the hype, I do tend to pick up books that I know are doing well, but I just don't want to go in with any preconceptions. I just want to see for myself if I enjoy these novels. So what I believe is the main character ends up killing a fairy and is therefore taken into, or kidnapped into, a kind of fairy world, and it seems that her captor, as he has a mask on, is hiding a dark secret, and I think it mainly follows their relationship. I think they end up falling in love, I don't really know, but that's kind of what the blurb suggested to me. So I'm currently reading The Cruel Prince, and that's kind of set in a fairy world, and so far I am absolutely obsessed. Like right now I'm looking at it on my bedside table and I can't wait to pick it up again. So if this world is kind of similar to Holly Black's fairy world, then I know I'm going to love it. This is a trilogy with a prequel, I believe, so there's like 3 books but a 4th one in total, so I only need to get the 3rd book to complete my collection, and then I will probably have to get the prequel from online because you never really find like the small prequel kind of books in charity shops. But I'm hoping I find the 3rd one of these in a charity shop, which will be awesome. So that is all the books I have to show you today. Thank you so much for watching. I mainly did this haul because I really need to fill up my shelf, because I bought it a couple of weeks ago and I just want to get it all filled up. So that's why I've been going to a lot of charity shops, trying to fill up my shelves and make my shelf a positive one, make it full of stuff I really want to read, instead of just buying books for the sake of it. So all these books are like right at the top of my TBR, so I'm so lucky I managed to pick them up. So thank you so much for watching. I will keep you updated on all of my opinions on every single book I've mentioned. So I will be reading them soon, and they will probably be in monthly wrap-ups. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!